Welcome back. According to recent news reports, investment and research analyst at the 30-year-old National Insurance Services, Stuart Haynes, will soon take over the leadership of the organization. Haynes has a Master of Science degree and a Bachelor of Science degree in Actuarial Studies and will replace Executive Director Reginald Thomas. Haynes, originally from Caliacor, takes up leadership of the NIS in the wake of the International Monetary Fund IMF working paper titled Insurance Scheme Reforms in the Caribbean, which warns that social security schemes in the region may face increasing financial pressures in the year to come. Sunwing Airlines has confirmed that Daniel Gibson, a national of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, will be one of the pilots who will fly the inaugural flight to the Argyle International Airport on February 14, 2017. Chief Executive Officer of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Tourism Authority, Glenn Beach, told Searchlight newspaper on Friday that during discussions with Sunwing earlier that day, the Canadian charter company shared that Gibson, who is a captain and instructor with the airline, will be one of the pilots in the cockpit. Senator Julian Francis, while speaking on Star FM on Tuesday night, said that the 14th of February 2017 will be declared a public holiday for the opening of the Argyle International Airport. Honorable Francis said that Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves would take the matter to Cabinet shortly, which is expected to be approved. Gonsalves, speaking on Star FM recently, announced that February 14, 2017 is the official opening date for the Argyle International Airport. An initiative on January 3rd was launched to improve the lives of residents of South Central Windward. We get more in this report.
A new initiative aimed at improving the lives of residents of the South Central Windward constituency was launched on Tuesday, January 3rd at the Newgrounds Agricultural Station. The Millennium Sustainable Development Community Project, MSDC, seeks to promote and implement the global goals of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, spearheaded by the United Nations. The SDGs, as they are commonly called, are a set of 17 aspirational goals contained in paragraph 54 of the United Nations Resolution of September 25, 2015. Speaking at the official launch, Area Representative and Minister of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries and Rural Transformation, the Honorable Sabota Caesar, gave background information on how the MSDC project came into existence.
At a meeting in Johannesburg, South Africa, on the 1st of August 2016, a discussion took place about small island developing states and their ability to achieve the sustainable development goals. The United Nations outlined several goals, aims and objectives which they worked towards achieving by 2015. However, several of these goals were not achieved by 2015, and a new international developmental agenda was established for the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals, as they are referred to as the SDGs, by the period 2030. At the meeting in South Africa, it was outlined that in order for us to be successful as small island developing states in our quest to achieve these goals, that we must establish geographic spaces within our country where we focus on achieving specific goals. And I am happy, as the representative of the constituency of South Central Windward, to launch this project in this constituency to work towards achieving the 17 Sustainable Development Goals as outlined by the United Nations.
Minister Caesar further explained how the project will be implemented within the South Central Windward constituency and highlighted 4 specific goals that will be targeted during the initial stages of the project.
Over the next 90 days, we are going to see a series of consultations throughout the length and breadth of the constituency. It will take the form of house-to-house visits, town hall meetings, and there are 2 scheduled open-air meetings. And the objective over the next 90 days is to popularize these goals with every single citizen in South Central Windward.
Area Representative Honorable Sabota Caesar said that in order to achieve the goals, we must know what the goals are.
First, we must know what the goals are. And we are going to visit the preschools, the primary schools, the churches, all the NGOs in the constituency, and all of the community-based organizations. In the implementation process, after the 90 days, there's going to be a special focus on several of the goals. All 17 goals would not be approached at the same time. After the consultations in the next 90 days, an assessment would be done by several technicians who will be assigned as to what is the status of each goal in the constituency. And the 4 first goals which will be approached are these. 1, climate change, coming under the goal of climate action. 2, good health and well-being. 3, zero hunger. And 4, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. As it pertains to climate action and climate change, every single member of the constituency of South Central Windward would have to grapple over the next decades with the adversities and the vagaries handed to us by climate change.
The Honorable Sabota Caesar said that government had to pay a significant amount to prevent a total collapse of the coastline on the windward side.
Approximately 2 years ago, where the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines had to expend significant sums to prevent a total collapse of the Windward Highway, that area adjoining to what is known commonly as the drop-off bar. Not only is our coastline affected, but over the last 6 months, we as a constituency, we have been placed in recovery mode as it pertains to the agriculture production sector. From Hurricane Matthew, and when it passed here was Tropical Storm Matthew, to 3 frost systems, many farmers today are asking the question, what do we plant? How do we mitigate against so many issues that we have to grapple with on a daily and a weekly basis as a result of climate change? If we shift crops, how do we find new markets for these crops?
CEO of the SVG Tourism Authority, Glen Beach, on Boom OMG Talk Show, said that persons flying in and out of the Argyle International Airport will be checked by the U.S. Transportation Security Administration, TSA, but that chartered flights do not need TSA.
To come down on the 15th from JFK. What's the TSA clearance? For charter flights, you don't need TSA.
You don't.
But TSA should be in here by the end of February to do their checks, because we have to be up and running for them to come and do their security checks. So by the end of February, we've been in contact with them for a while now. So by the end of February, and they're in a hurry to get in here too, because there are 2 airlines that have spoken to them about St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So they said they've been pressured to get in here and do their check.
CEO Beach noted that flights from June or November will need to go through TSA. He added that a plane on the ground is money lost.
We've made it clear to them that I need them by June, the latest. But that goes back to plane availability. And that's the problem, and that's why it's necessary to make sure you have these negotiations and you have your dates down packed, because as I said before, they don't like to have a plane on the ground. It's a plane on the ground, it's a plane losing money. So we're hoping for JetBlue by June. I am hoping for American Airlines before that, coming out of Miami.
Right.
I'm also hoping for WestJet.
And this is all hinged on TSA is happy with the security checks and all that, right?
Of course, a lot of it would depend on that. TSA will come in. If they're happy with us, we get clear.
In the hopes of offsetting the cost of attaining her bachelor's degree, kindergarten teacher Suzette Sandy has launched her own series of coloring books aimed at young children. Speaking to Searchlight last Thursday, January 5th, Sandy said that apart from the financial aspect, she was inspired to develop the book series by her children and her creative ability. She explained that although these coloring books are targeted at primary and preschool children, she intends to create a series for older children. She also pointed out that during the early stages of children's development, they love to draw and scribble as they hone their fine motor skills. As such, the books are a way for children to link the verbal with the visual. The court proceedings through which a magistrate will decide if there is enough evidence to try 29-year-old Viren Primus of Vermont for the murder of real estate agent Charlene Graves will continue on January 17, 2017. Hearings in the matter were adjourned on Friday after 2 witnesses testified at the Serious Offences Court in Kingstown. Eyewitnesses have testified and the prosecution is expected to call more than 40 witnesses. Charlene Graves, age 33, was discovered dead at her Bijou real estate agency at Annisville at 9 a.m. on November 13, 2015, with multiple stab wounds about the body. During Friday's sitting, Chief Magistrate Rashan Brown Mathias heard evidence from Graves' ex-husband, Grant Graves of Lodge Village, and Daryl Haywood of Upper Cane Hall, a farmer who worked for Graves from time to time. According to Eyewitness News, Haywood told the court it was he who found Graves' body in her office and asked someone to call the police. In asking for the adjournment, Adolphus Delpech, senior prosecutor in the prosecution service, said that the prosecution was going to make an application under the Witness Special Measures Act. Director of Public Prosecution, DPP Colin Williams, has in the past been up in arms with the media houses that have reported the facts of a case that is undergoing a preliminary inquiry. SBG-TV in their Friday, January 6 newscast did just that. Journalist Sharon Garraway reported word-for-word sections of a testimony given at the preliminary inquiry into the November 13, 2015 murder of real estate agent Charlene Graves. IKtv will bring you more information once the story develops. Stay with us. Following this commercial break, we bring you more local stories.